A sublime bit of playing from George Harrison had listeners praise his part on a diss track aimed at Paul McCartney. George Harrison's slide guitar work on John Lennon's track, How Do You Sleep, has often been highlighted as a standout moment, with many listeners praising his contribution to what was essentially a musical attack on Paul McCartney. The song appeared on Lennon's Imagine album and was widely seen as a response to McCartney's Too Many People from his Ram record. What made it even more striking was Harrison's surprise collaboration with Lennon on the track, which turned into one of the final exchanges in the so-called song wars that followed the Beatles' breakup. Ringo Starr, though not involved in the recording, was said to have told Lennon to tone it down and suggested cutting some of the harsher lines. An earlier take of How Do You Sleep later surfaced and drew attention for Harrison's guitar work, with fans describing it as one of his finest performances. Many noted that his slide playing carried both sensitivity and precision, perfectly complementing the song's mood. Others pointed out that his touch on the guitar was unmatched, with some even calling it a career best moment for him. On online forums and YouTube, fans shared similar thoughts. Some argued that even the official album version captured Harrison at his peak, while others emphasized that unreleased takes revealed him at his absolute best. They highlighted not only Harrison's control and melodic sense, but also praised contributions from other musicians like Nicky Hopkins. Listeners often remarked that the raw takes contained some of the best playing they had ever heard, even recalling Lennon's offhand studio comments with amusement because the music itself sounded so extraordinary. Harrison's work on How Do You Sleep also reminded fans of his brilliance in other contexts, particularly his solo on the Beatles' Something, which many described as nearly flawless in tone and execution. His expressive bends and overall mastery were often seen as qualities that even more technically flashy players could not replicate. As for the origins of the feud, McCartney later explained that Too Many People had been intended as a subtle jab at Lennon. He felt Lennon was preaching about how people should live, and the message struck him as somewhat hypocritical. That sparked Lennon's sharp response with How Do You Sleep, and McCartney admitted he had briefly considered replying with a track of his own. Eventually, however, the exchanges faded, the disputes over the Beatles' business matters were resolved, and the former bandmates were able to reconnect as friends. McCartney reflected that he was grateful for this, as their shared history was far too important to let personal and financial disagreements destroy it.